सब्सक्राइब करो और घंटी दबाओ, नोटिफिकेशन आता।
Subscribe for more content.
Welcome to day 2 of my 30 days and 30 project journey where I challenge myself to create something new every day using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Today's project is the box shadow generator. This tool allows to customize and generate stylish box shadows for your designs with simple sliders and inputs. It's an excellent example of how interact elements can elevate a web application. Stay tuned for the source code explanation and how this project works. Let's keep innovating and learning together. So come to the HTML part of this code. So first of all is a doc type HTML. It can be version of the HTML. Currently we are using HTML5 in the case, and come to the HTML tag, and HTML tag is language. You can use English, specify the language of the document, and come to the head tag. You can use head is metadata, can set character encoding for the document and make the page responsive, and the name and viewport content, how to uh, minimize the width, device width and initial scale of 1.0, and the title of the web page is it is the box shadow generator, and link is the connection of the external CSS part. You can use dot CSS extension. Come to the body tag, and it can be use the main tag of container using div tag main container for the box shadow generator, and the head tag can be used in heading of second largest heading box shadow generator, so showing like this. And I will take another div tag to selection display the element with the generated box shadow, and I another one nested div tag is div id element of the box preview and shadow effects to close the tag. Then after go to the another one to selection sliders and input controls. So I will take in this process of the box shadow generator, I will use horizontal shadow and vertical shadow, blur radius and spread radius, and shadow color, and shadow color opacity, inset shadow. I will take one text area box to showing the value of the box shadow generator, and come to the horizontal shadow. So horizontal shadow is the this one. So I will take one div tag to class slider wrapper, taking a one class of, and I will take one label to for the for edge shadow. Edge shadow means horizontal shadow to giving the name of the horizontal shadow, and I will take one input to type of the range. So this is the type of range to I will take one id h shadow. The width of the maximum range 100 and the minimum is -100. Whenever I drag the range value, so the horizontal slider will be going through the horizontally. Then after close the horizontal shadow slider tag. So come to the vertical shadow slider. This one is the vertical shadow slider. So I will take one div tag and take the one class of the slider wrapper, and take the one label to for what v shadow. Then after write the vertical shadow to giving the input name of the vertical shadow, and take the one input to range of the vertical shadow, same of the horizontal and vertical also. So some different. So see, different is just we change the H shadow and V shadow. See, this one is the horizontal shadow, this one is the vertical shadow. So the whenever I slide the vertical shadow range, so the color will be come to the vertical way. Then after close the vertical shadow slider, go create the one next blur radius slider. So blur radius slider is, I already uh, mentioned the horizontal and vertical shadow. Then after to the blur, we can whenever we want the blur some blur of the our background and color, this type of we can use the blur radius. And I will take the one class of the slider wrapper, and also taking the one label to link with the blur radius, and write the blur radius name in the input. Then after taking the one input type of range to id is blur radius and max width of 100 and minimum width of 0. So starting value is 0 and max value is 100. So I will take value of 0. Close the blur radius, come to the spread radius. Spread radius means I will drag the this one, the color will be spread with the around of the container. So I will take one label for spread radius and write the input name, label name, and take the one input type range, and id is spread radius and max width is 50 and minimum width is minus 50. So value of I will take 0 value. Close the spread radius slider. Then after create the one shadow color to create the one shadow color. Whenever we click the shadow color, the color whatever we want the color, just click on the color, it will be automatically change the color. So create the one div tag and take the one class of slider wrapper. Then after create the one label for creating name of the shadow color. Then take the input type equal to color. So id is shadow color. Come to the shadow color opacity, and also take the label of the shadow color opacity and giving the label name, and also taking one input type of range, and id is shadow color opacity and max value is 1 and minimum value is 0. So value of I will take in this format of color opacity, I will take 1, step value is 0 0.1. Whenever there are alpha value, we can use RGBA method, red and green, blue and alpha. So the this type of we can alpha values, we can use the point values. So I can use the 0 0.1. So close the div tag and come to the insert shadow checkbox. So after checkbox means just create the one label for insert, and type is checkbox to create the one id. To whenever I click the, it will be automatically select the color. Finally come to the selection to the display and copy generate css code uh, of the code wrapper. Create the one class of, and take the one text area and id is code. I can take the two rows of the text area to display generated code, and come to the button. Whenever I click the button, then automatically it will be copied. So the alert will be code copied to clipboard. So it will be like this. I will take one on click copy code function name using of, I will explain in JavaScript part in this method. So just close the this method, come to finally links the JavaScript file, and next go through the CSS explanation part. So general body styling is body. I will take directly use the body tag. Body part I can use the blue background. and color I will be take the white text color. Text color will be white text color, and font family is default font, and margin is 0, and padding will be 0. I will take for box shadow generator in the inside of the container. So I will take the text color will be text align is a center, so showing like this, and color will be chart is, I use the chart is color, and come to the container. Container is the dark background of the container in the background, and border is border radius. I will take the round corners of 10 pixel of the round corners. So showing like this, corners of the radius, and box shadow is adds the shadow around the container, and margin will be 100 pixel to auto centers the container. It will be showing the center of the browser web page. So max width is 600 pixel to limits maximum width, and padding is 40 pixel adds the padding inside the container. And coming to styling for the preview area. So preview area we can use padding 50 pixels at 0, and display will be flex. So whenever I the zoom in and zoom out, it will be flexible, and justify content is center. It will be center the element of horizontally. You can use default styling for the preview box, and element can height is 120 pixel fixed height, and fixed width also same 120 pixel, and background color is white, and box shadow is so RGBA. I already tell R means red, green, blue, and alpha. So I will take 0, 0, and 0, 0.5. So value will be point type of we are creating the initial box shadow, and styling for slider labels for the inputs. So horizontal inputs, and vertical and blur, spread radius, shadow color, and shadow opacity. This type of the inputs we can give the maximum type of range to stacks the label and input vertically, and slider wrapper is display is flex direction is column type of the stacks label input is vertically, justified content space between, and range of the styling. I will take the input of type range. So width is 100%. So these are the type of the width to drag the width of the range. And code display and button styling. I will take the class of the code wrapper to display grid, and creates a grid layout, and a grid template columns is to allocate the space for the text and button. So space between text area and button of the copy of the button, and gap will be 5 pixel. Add space between elements, and margin top will be 20 pixel. Come to the text area part of the class. I use directly of the tag name to the resize will be uh, disabling. You can use whenever normal method you can use the text area, it will be dragged to the to going through the big way, and also you can use the resize. Resize means specify the whether not the element resizable, it can be disabled. So padding will be 5 pixels, and border is 1 pixel of the solid green border. So these are the green border of the text area, and border radius will be 5 pixel to the round corners. And come to the button styling. Button styling will be class of the code wrapper using of button method. using of background blue background. So like this, and also border will be no border. I didn't use the border, so I will write the none. Border radius will be two corners of the round corners, so I will take the 5 pixels of the outer uh, round corners, and the color will be white text, and also cursor of the pointer. Whenever I come to the copy button, the cursor will be automatically change the hand method hand button. So padding will be 10 pixel of the add padding space of the inside of the button. So these are the CSS part explanation. Come to the final one, JavaScript part. So I will take the one constant variable to the take the one variable name element elm. So document type of element to get element by id. I already created one id of the HTML page. So div tag I can use the box for previewing shadow effects. So I will take one another one to the code of end of the code. So document of element by id code. In the below of the HTML tag, I use the code wrapper of the text area container to the previewing element of the code display the text area, and select all the input slider and controls. I will take one variable of the sliders. You can use the sliders. The you can giving the functionality for the sliders, and you can write the document of dot query selector all. You can use the dot sliders input, and also adds event listener to update shadow when sliders is changed. You can write the to call the sliders dot for each of the slider equal to greater than of the slider dot add event listen. You can use the add event listener to call the input of the generated shadow using the function name, and the main function to update the box shadow and create one function of the generated shadow function will be, and function name is generated shadow to void the constant of the shadow params to get the shadow parameters for sliders, and come to the constant variable of the box shadow to create box shadow of the three dots of shadow params to inside of the create CSS shadow string apply shadow. So appeals the shadow previewing box to the element and call the element and box shadow, and update of the box shadow updates the code will be display in the text area place, and close the function. Then after I will take another function of the get show the params. I use the horizontal shadow and vertical shadow and blur radius and spread radius shadow color, and shadow color opacity of the insert shadow and text area to the interactivity giving in the given shadows. So horizontal shadow I use the integer type. So document dot get element by id to call the id of the h shadow to the value type, and vertical shadow also same. Document dot get element by id vertical shadow dot value, and a blur radius will be percent of document type of element get element by id to call the blur radius in the HTML page, and it is also value, and spread radius also same percent the get element by id spread radius of the value, and this also will be same. Didn't use the percent. So it is the shadow color. We don't use the any type of integer of the present of the dot get element by id call the shadow color dot value, and come to the shadow color opacity. This is the floating type of value, so we can use the praise float. So praise float of document dot get element by id and shadow opacity dot value, it is the two fixed of 1. Two fixed means we can use in Python method. You can use the round function. In this JavaScript we can use fixed. After dot we can use just value, for example 1.0 and 1.00. So two fixed of the value is just 1.0. It will be showing the output like this in the text area box of the box shadow. And finally uh, come to the shadow inset. So document type of it is also just checkbox, so you can didn't use the present in the get element by id call the id of the shadow inset to checked. So whenever I click the checkbox, it will be automatically a tick mark will be giving in the output. I will call the all the return the variables names h shadow and what v shadow, blur radius and spread radius, and shadow color opacity, and shadow inset method, and close the function. Then after I will create the one create function. Of the function name will be create box shadow. I will giving the parameters h shadow and v shadow and blur radius and spread radius and color opacity and inset. So concept shadow will be equal to shadow equal to inset. So inset is the inset of parameter. I use the inset id in the inside of the inset box to the double quotes. It is the as the box is checked or unchecked. So constant rgba color to hexa to rgba. Hexa means hexadecimal to rgba to color opacity converts to hexa to rgba. To return the all the methods of the shadow and h shadow and v shadow, blur radius and spread radius and rgba colors, we can call the this type of h shadow will be didn't use the pixels. H shadow will be come to the pixel, and v shadow also pixel, and blur radius is pixel, and spread radius also you can use uh, pixel, and color we didn't use the any type of pixels, just we can create the rgba color, just that's it, and close the function. I will create the one converts hexa color and opacity rgba, create one function, and function name is hexa to rgba, and color is opacity, and parameters name is color and opacity. I will take just one variable, and one two variable is r equal to present. It means color dot substring of the 1 comma 2 to the 16. So hexadecimal is come to the 0 to 16. So and I will take g green color to purpose of int of color, and dot substring 3 comma 2 16, and I will take rgb blue color present of color parameter and a substring of any type of the value, and 5 comma 2 to 16 to return the rgba of r and g b of the, you can take the variable names of the numbers to opacity. And I will take another function of the applies the generated shadow to the preview box to create function, and function name is apply shadow. Apply shadow means element of the box shadow It is the element of the box shadow element styles box shadow of the box shadow, and update the code of the text area with the generated box shadow CSS. Whenever I drag the input type of ranges, it will be automatically changed in the box shadow uh, text area page. Insert is this type of, you can use the input automatically change. So code dot text dot content equal to box shadow of the text. And finally I will come to the I will take another function to the copy the clipboard. I already using in the HTML page button on click equal to copy code. I write the function copy code. So I will take one data type of constant to the take the variable code text equal to code dot text content. Whenever I click the copy button, it will be automatically copy the code copy to clipboard. It will be giving the alert. So navigated dot clipboard write text code text dot, then it will be alert. So I click the alert message. So it will be shows the like this way. Okay, just click on the OK. It will be hidden. Then after I will initialize the generator on the page load to window onload equal to generated shadow. These are the project for the box shadow generator. Thank you Connections for taking the time to explore my box shadow generator project. This project was a great way to combine creativity with code and demonstrate the dynamic capabilities of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I hope you found it insightful and engaging. Your feedback and suggestions are always welcome as they help me grow and improve. Stay tuned for more exciting projects in my 30 days and 30 project series. Let's continue learning and building the together. Thank you.